than recording. So I also need to change where my sound is coming from. Let's see. Playback devices. Set as default device. And disable. There we go. Alright. So you should have sound now. But welcome back to the small town of Springwood, where we have the Bank of America building that is bigger than all the other buildings around. Today we're going to be working on the farm up here, up top. There's this whole farmland area, and below it is a valley. And there's some hills up here overlooking the river. So we've got some expanding to do. I got some comments last time about getting rid of some of this low density, and I think that you're right. I think we need to build up some density down in the valley. Down here. I don't think we need to build up density along the coast yet. But I was thinking along the valley down here, and I was thinking up here should be a farm, sort of on this sunny plateau overlooking the city. So we have a lot of farmland, and we have a road that is sort of like the main road connecting it with a commercial strip on it. So we had a couple things as well. We also have the highway that we're going to be connecting to. But I don't think that we're going to be connecting to it yet. I think we're gonna have to have a curved road, but we're gonna be going out probably 2 and 2. And then we'll do the same thing down here. We'll just go like... Maybe we'll even do... Let's do a straight road, actually, right here for just a few. I think that will help. So this is going to be like the main connector for all the farms that are going to connect onto here. It's going to pump people out here to this freeway for right now, but I'm thinking we have a freeway connection right here that's actually going to be really good for trucking some of these goods out. So we're going to want to build a connection onto the freeway. We're going to have a curved road and go out 2 and up 2. And 1 and up 1. We just want to have it as straight as possible. Or at least as perpendicular as possible. We got it pretty close. So we'll build off of that for right now. But we should have some dirt roads. I think that that's probably our best bet. These are going to be straight dirt roads, connecting up all the farmland. Maybe at the end there's a... Let me see, because I want this out. I want this out too. Okay. That should be right. So like maybe in here we have a curved road, right? Something like this, I think. So just making use of as much land in there as possible. We'll definitely see this. We're not making the best use of space. With that one, I think we could do better here. No. Let's see. It's right there. We make a little bit better use. Ugh. Well, you know, whatever. It's the farms. It's farms. Sometimes the roads just aren't going to be straight up in all the farms. This one, though, I bet could have a nice little curve to it. Something that starts straight, but I think curves a little sooner. Not like that. And something down here as well. This one might just go like that. So this is going to be like a big agriculture area. Thing is, agriculture for the game does not require very much education. And if you remember last time, we were having some education issues. Along here we're gonna have a little commercial strip that all of the goods can be sold at. So there's gonna be lots of traffic there anyway. Back here using this brush isn't the best. Could probably just use that. Make sure everything's been gotten. In here can be farms. And we'll just keep up the commercial low density for now. I don't think we need really big buildings along this yet, but we do want to fill out some of this commercial demand. We have a lot of commercial demand right now. So we'll build it up here. None of this has pipes yet, though. So... if you remember, this thing's all coming off of that, so... Our poor pipe guy. We have like one long tube. If it gets plugged, like here... oh man. Luckily, I don't think that they factor drain pipe maintenance too much into it, except that it costs a little bit of money. But since we're gonna be expanding out here, we're just gonna expand our water system out. And up onto the hills. This is gonna be a really nice area to expand to. Thanks again for the comments last time about the residential, because we are going to have a residential need for this. We just put in a lot of industrial space, and that reminds me, we also need to check the districts on it to make sure this is farm space. We are going to expand it right there. So that should be all focused on farming. This will come down here. We'll worry about building in a commercial district. But I just want to make sure we weren't getting dirty industrial up here. Looks like we were, and that was not my intention for this space. So, sorry guys. Oh. Farms only. That's a farm. Thanks. Okay. We just had to make sure that was sort of an emergency. But we are going to be turning down here into high density residential. So thanks for the suggestion on that. That was, where can I see your name? That was AidenTube. So thank you for that. And you can see that they are, this is low speed, and they are just destroying that. They really want some high density down there. So we're gonna, I think, give them that. We can just continue the grid. So I'm glad we got away from the grid up there on the hills. But I think down here, at least for this part, we do just want... we do just want to grid up the valley. There we go. Since demand is low right now, we are going to fill this up with low density. This is sort of a new area. It's brand new. It does have water. Power should be fine. It needs a park. Look how unhappy people are. We can just be like, here, have a park. Please be happy. Here's a park for you. You can build around that. Would you like a park? There you go. Enjoy the park. Down here, we are going to have a sunken business park. And out here, I think we can fit a bigger park in. Oh, that's a really big park. We can fit this guy in. There we go. That's a big park. We'll probably need some education. We do have a bunch of jobs that are going to be coming in up here that don't require a lot of education. And as if you remember, education works sort of as a longitudinal thing. So if I put in an elementary school up here, which I should, just to make sure it's covered, people will factor into it. People will start attending it, and they attend it a certain amount of times, I believe, and then they can attend a high school. And if they attend that enough, then they can graduate and go to university. So you have this tiered system, but it's based on time, and it will tell you sort of blue is high education and red is low. What's high and what's low. So here, this was a problem area a few videos ago. There was new high density and it was low education, but it had just barely formed, and so we put in a new elementary school. They have 2 elementary schools that are sort of that they can feed into, and there's some high school around across the street, I believe, right here. And they're getting really educated. We also have a university right out here that's next to this, and this is low education. So I think that this is the perfect opportunity for a high school. It does mean we're going to have to sort of sacrifice the grid, because high schools are really big. But that does give us an opportunity, I think, in the middle to build that really big park. Yeah. And just fill out a really nice, beautiful block. It does mean we're going to de-zone it. Here we go. But instead, or in its place, we are going to make this high density over here. So we will hopefully be able to house the same amount of people. But it will be around sort of an education hub as well as a really big park. And we're playing the long game on this. Because I think that's going to be really nice in the long term. Especially with the university right there. We have 2 high schools that are just feeding into it. And we have this beautiful downtown that's going to start to fill out. So I'm really looking forward to how that turns out. Also up here is going to be really interesting. We have a lot of space. But you can see our farm area has already filled out. So we're going to actually continue the farm area all along this. We're going to have a really large farm area. And it's all going to be feeding off of this main hub right here, this main road. So I think the next thing that we can do is probably start to build out off of this grid down here. We're just going like 2 out, 2 out, 2 out. That's gonna be pretty good. 2 out. And probably connect it again. That can go out here and out this I'm not building a swastika, I promise. Because now we are going to start putting in some curved paths. I think off of here. And just connect that with a straight road. So it doesn't connect yet. We'll see how it plays out long term. I think this side, probably off of here. There we go. So there's that. And we do want to use the most space for this. So I want to fill all my little areas like that, while still creating interesting shapes. So that can definitely include something that feeds into that connection right there. And maybe down like that. Alright, so that is going to be new farmland. We just have a lot of farmland. But you know, we are a big river city, so I don't think that's a bad idea. We even have a port. I bet down here would be great for a port. That would be really good. That would be really good. I hope that works out. We also have some other areas of the map that we can buy. So we've looked at this before. But if there are areas that you'd like to go, I mean, downriver you can see we've already polluted it pretty badly. So like, if you wanted to build an industrial area or something, like down here would be a good way to sort of shift all of this stuff a little bit farther out, giving you an opportunity to really develop up the river. The benefit out here is there's already a connector built in, so we do have a lot more access out here. We can put in forestry. I like forestry. Up here we can actually connect to the rail, so we could bring that rail down into the city. And that could be an interesting thing as well, just buying access into the rail. So it does also, it gives us a whole new area of the city to expand to. There's also a freeway connector up here actually, so that's great. We have this whole new area up here. It's fantastic. We're not going to develop that right now, but think about it. What could it be? Sort of ours to make something with. But it looks like, oh, you gotta remind me about these districts. This is all farm. It's all priority farm. Okay. And we're just gonna sort of be preemptive about some of those areas. Maybe even up there. So those areas could be farm because they have the right crop. But we are going to continue to develop this area, and this eventually I think might be the port. But districts should be good. We will go into some more policies because I know we've gotten a bunch of new ones as we've leveled up. But right now we have demand for commercial, and so I think it's time that we deal with that. We've filled up a lot of this area, and this stuff is still low density. It's abandoned. And I think it might be time for it to go. Even some of this residential right here, certainly around here, We do want to keep this area back here. We've talked about that before, but it's, if you remember, the area that just connects to the back of the city only. So sort of a private residence area. It's, I think, eventually going to be worth a lot of money. It's right next to a high school. We'll see, it also might turn into a giant disaster, but just sort of trying to use the space in interesting ways. But now that we've got that down, it's time to bring in some high density commercial along the waterfront. And this is a whole other side of the freeway system as well. So who knows how this is actually going to work out. We don't want too much stuff actually on these roads. I think this one is fine. But remember, this is a big connector as well. This is a big traffic hub. So we do want to be careful what we're bringing into this side. So these areas pretty soon will start to develop. We are going to just help it away with some of the abandoned properties. We'll see what comes up. We have about $68,000. It's not as much as I'd like, but we are making a ton of money. A ton of money. $13,000 in weekly income. And we do not seem to have major problems. So I think it might be time to look at a big project. We do have trains. We do have trains. And that would be a really big project. So if you think about it, I mean, we could connect to this thing. Come down the river, probably on this side, and just connect into this. It could be a great way to get rid of some of this freight. We could have a sort of a bridge right here to get across the freeway. Connect to it in here. And then we can even connect it, if we're lucky, to the downtown area. But it could bring in a lot of people. It would be nice to bring it a little further along the waterfront, but to get over here would require purchasing 2 new territories. So I think if we want it down here eventually, we'd have to go down this way, and that's a big project. But we could bring it down that way. So that's one thing we could do. We also have the cargo train terminal. Must be placed on a roadside. Let's see what this says. Okay, so this is for the industrial. And then we have a train station for the residential. I see. And we have a Mojiko train station. Which looks like it's a famous one from a city in Japan. So we could build that in up here somewhere. We can figure it out. So we can start looking at trade. We will have ships soon, when we have 36,000 people in the city. Right now we only have 15, but we are growing. We are growing, so ships along this might not work yet. It might be a long-term project. So far, though, I think we've expanded a lot down here. Looks like we need to fix up this side of the freeway. This might be a nice place for a curved road. Something like that. Could even connect it. And curve this one. But then have it straight. Just like that. We can go out here. Yeah. So that's going to be really nice. We'll just go ahead and fill this up. It should already be ready for farms. There. We may want to start looking at this connection though. I think I see a good place to bring it in. We do have a bridge down here. So we gotta think about how and if we want to navigate the valley with the freeway. Right now it's sort of a freeway-free zone. And it's got these very nice old buildings. Or old-style buildings growing up in it. Very pretty roof on all of these. Some empty area, but this area is going to be a park. Although I think on this side that might be high density. And over here we'll bring in a path that goes down here. And connects onto that, I think. Can we make it go down here? Go down the back of these, and then we are gonna have to sacrifice a little bit of our density space. I don't think too much. Just one. But that should connect everyone to this park. Which I wish you could draw in the parks, you know? But it says, you know, it's a park space or whatever. So I'd have to make that on its own, but I wish I could edit the parks because, you know, I'd put in like a grand little entrance here, but as it stands, you can't even put trees on parks. We are going to have a few trees. Since we can't put any trees on here, and it is a big area, we probably want to try and match the type of tree that it has. Looks like some of these it has. Alright. Get some in here. Can't do it in the high school. We can get up next to it. Not in front of it, not on that park. There's that. Do any of these work? Looks like... I do always like, and you know this if you've seen the other videos, big trees. I do like big trees. So we may just have a few. Now we can't put them in the areas around here, so we don't want them to be too conspicuous. But we do want them to feel like they're integrated, I think, into the park. And I feel like it does. Like, I think that looks pretty good. These people are gonna have a really nice backyard. Or front yard, I guess. Well, you know what? If that's gonna be a front yard, we're gonna have a park pathway going that way as well. Yeah. So we did lose. It wasn't optimal. Yeah, but that's fine. It's fine. Look, we lost 3 wide. Oh no. That's gonna be a nice area though. And just right in the middle of the valley. Really liking it. We do have that commercial demand, and it's building up. So let's start thinking about, you know, what are we gonna do with that? It could be this area, honestly. If we make this an entrance, sort of like we plan it a little bit. So if we turn that into a big entrance, we could have a main boulevard come down here, and that comes into the commercial area. Let's not disrupt it too much. You can let me know what you think in the comments or in the chat. Alright. But I think it is time to end this episode. It's been pretty successful, I think. We do have this area, you know, it's growing in pretty nicely. I think it's going to connect well there. We can probably have something coming off of there, you know, we'll work on traffic, but I think that's going to work out really well. This is growing. We have a lot of people coming in. We're having poo problems. Or trash problems. We're having trash problems, and we're having abandoned buildings down here. I think they want to be high density. Maybe they want to be office? We'll see. We'll see. I think that there's more to come. There's more to come. You know, what happens to this side of the river? Does it ever get saved? Do we get to reclaim it? That'd be really hard. It's really gross in here. Look at all that trash. Right next to the river. We are disgusting. Like, we're just throwing our poop into the river. But we do own this up here, so, you know, we may build something up here. We are starting to get access to a forest, which is exciting. We have a lot of opportunity to grow. This high density area is, you know, looking pretty good so far. We may, hopefully we'll upgrade it a little bit soon. We'll see. We're starting to get lots of money. So it is time to start making some grand gestures again. But first we need to figure out that garbage problem. So we'll do that. And we'll see where this goes next on the next episode. And until next time, I'm Grishno. And I'll see you later.